I speak to you today with feelings of profound sorrow. Throughout her life, Her Majesty the Queen.
Diana's life was tragically cut short in August 1997. The princess was fleeing the paparazzi in Paris when her car crashed, severely injuring her and the vehicle's occupants.
In a moment as dramatic as any royal scandal in history, witnesses say the king staggered under the weight of the verdict. Is this truly a shocking twist of fate, or a telling sign that unresolved secrets from long ago have finally caught up with him?
You and your brother both directly asked your dad not to marry Camilla. You wrote that she started a campaign in the British press to pave the way for a marriage, and you wrote, "I even wanted Camilla to be happy. Maybe she'd be less dangerous if she was happy."
Yes.
Why?
Join us on this extraordinary journey to uncover how King Charles and his family now stand at a crossroads unlike any other. A fractured fairy tale, Charles and Diana's earliest strains. Years before the British people ever questioned King Charles in the context of Princess Diana's tragic demise, there was an elaborate wedding ceremony that the world lovingly referred to as a fairy tale. Charles, the heir to the throne, married the young and spirited Diana Spencer in 1981. At first glance, their union seemed like an event wrapped in romance and tradition. Diana was 19, shy, and adored by the public, while Charles radiated the stature of lineage and history. Televisions worldwide captured their wedding at St. Paul's Cathedral, and an estimated 750 million people tuned in to witness the spectacle.
They are the intimate and, until now, unseen moments of a day etched in royal history. Charles and Diana's wedding in 1981 captivated the world.
Beneath the grandeur, however, all was not well. Diana felt isolated from the very start. At that tender age, she discovered that Camilla Parker Bowles, who would later become Queen Consort, remained in Charles's affections. For Diana, the sharp reality set in that she was competing with a presence he could not let go. She has been quoted various times expressing how she felt there were three of us in this marriage, echoing her sense of disillusionment. Biographies from people close to Diana paint a picture of a lonely princess, struggling to cope with royal protocols and the overshadowing figure of Camilla. In the coming years, the marriage publicly unraveled. By the late 1980s, rumors about Charles and Camilla's ongoing closeness turned into an open secret. Then came Andrew Morton's bombshell book, Diana, Her True Story, published in 1992.
This week, a sensational new book has exposed dramatic insights into the private life of the royal couple. Shocking revelations of a hollow and tormented marriage are giving the British media and its public little else to talk about.
The revelations were so personal that many doubted Diana's involvement at first. She seemed too demure to confide such painful truths to someone outside the palace walls. Later, it was revealed she had indeed cooperated, wanting the world to know her agony. Morton described her emotional struggles, her bulimia, her sense of abandonment, even thoughts of self-harm, born from being married to a man who, by her accounts, did not truly love her. The slow-motion collapse continued in public view. By 1992, Prime Minister John Major formally announced the separation of Charles and Diana. Not long after, Charles gave a revealing television interview in which he admitted to being unfaithful. Understandably, Diana responded with her own interview, most famously with Martin Bashir for BBC's Panorama in 1995, where she laid bare the suspicion that her life could end abruptly, a haunting hint of future events. When their divorce was finalized in 1996, Diana lost the Her Royal Highness style, but kept the title Princess of Wales. This official parting, though, did not sever Diana's ties to the monarchy's pressures. She continued her philanthropic efforts, walking through landmines, helping those with HIV/AIDS, and becoming a beacon of compassion, and yet found it nearly impossible to escape the swirl of media interest and palace scrutiny. Diana wanted a fresh start, but she was also tethered to a world where King Charles still loomed powerfully, a man next in line for the throne. The night that shook the world, Diana's fatal crash in Paris. In the summer of 1997, a year after her divorce from Charles, Diana seemed on the cusp of a new chapter in life. People across the globe witnessed photographs of her on holiday with Dodi Al-Fayed, son of Egyptian businessman Mohammed Al-Fayed. Tabloids buzzed with curiosity. Was this a serious relationship? Could Diana's life finally be turning a corner toward genuine happiness? On August 30th, 1997, Diana and Dodi finished dinner at the Ritz Paris, a hotel the Al-Fayed family owned. By then, paparazzi had encircled the establishment, hungry for photos of the princess. Close to midnight, the couple attempted a stealthy exit from the hotel's back entrance. They hopped into a Mercedes-Benz W140 sedan driven by Henry Paul, accompanied by bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones in the passenger seat. Their destination was reportedly Dodi's apartment near the Champs-Élysées, but they never made it. Racing through the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, their car lost control and crashed into the 13th pillar with horrifying impact.
We have reports from Paris that Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed in a car accident and that her partner, Dodi Fayed, has also been killed. They were apparently being pursued by paparazzi on 2 motorcycles.
Henry Paul and Dodi Al-Fayed died instantly. Diana was severely injured, and though first responders reached her, she succumbed to her wounds in a French hospital by 4 a.m. on August 31st. The single survivor, Trevor Rees-Jones, suffered critical injuries and remembered very little of the crash. For the world, time seemed to freeze. Prince William, then 15, and Prince Harry, 12, were with their father at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. They awoke to the news of their mother's death. Almost immediately, a wave of grief enveloped Britain and soon radiated worldwide as people gathered before royal palaces, leaving flowers and heartfelt notes. On September 6, 1997, Diana's funeral drew an estimated 2.5 billion viewers, making it one of the most watched broadcasts in history. The heartbreak of seeing her young sons follow her coffin is an image that remains seared in collective memory. Official investigations quickly moved forward. French authorities led an inquest in 1999, concluding that this was a tragic accident caused by a combination of speeding and the driver's intoxication. Operation Paget, launched by British officials in 2004, was an exhaustive 3-year investigation that again concluded there was no evidence of foul play. Yet from the moment news broke until the present day, whispers and rumors suggest a darker plot. Had someone within the monarchy orchestrated the accident? Were there missing videos from the tunnel's CCTV cameras? Some claimed the paparazzi were used as pawns or scapegoats. The ripple effect, conspiracies and investigations. Diana's shocking death immediately became fertile ground for conspiracy theories, fueled in large part by Mohammed Al-Fayed himself. He claimed Diana was pregnant with Dodi's child, something that outraged the British establishment, and that the royal family or British intelligence had arranged the crash to prevent a Muslim connection to the lineage of the future kings, William and Harry. Others pointed to notes Diana wrote in 1995, revealed by her former butler Paul Burrell, in which she expressed fear that Charles might orchestrate a car accident to clear the way for Camilla. Although state inquiries took these allegations seriously, no substantial proof emerged. The official stance remained that Henry Paul had been driving under the influence and lost control. Investigators concluded that neither seatbelt failure nor tampered vehicle brakes were factors. The simplest explanation was that human error and reckless driving led to the tragedy. Yet gaps remained. For instance, the notorious white Fiat Uno supposedly seen colliding with the Mercedes in the tunnel was never definitively identified. French investigators examined thousands of such cars, to little avail. Various individuals, most famously paparazzo James Anderson, were rumored to own a white Fiat and faced speculation they were involved. Like many high-profile moments, Diana's death carried the cloak of the unknown and the hush of powerful institutions. Once the monarchy and British government categorically rejected the murder theory, many people felt the real story was locked away forever. This hush found new life whenever Prince William and Prince Harry publicly addressed their mother's passing. Over the years, interviews revealed that both young princes struggled with incomplete answers and haunting memories. They learned early to trust official statements, yet their mother's repeated warnings and the swirl of conspiracies caused them to question whether there was more to the official version. Within this atmosphere, King Charles's potential role remained a sensitive subject. While no coroner or official inquiry ever accused Charles of orchestrating the crash, Diana's own words about car accidents lingered. Some conspiracy buffs latched onto them as evidence of his direct guilt. In modern discourse, the more nuanced view is that Charles's personal choices, his affair with Camilla, his emotional neglect of Diana, may have contributed to her state of paranoia. If the monarchy had embraced Diana's vulnerabilities, would she have been in Paris that night, feeling the need to outmaneuver paparazzi? William and Harry's long road to reckoning. Any reflection on King Charles's role within the family inevitably brings us to Princes William and Harry. As children at the time of Diana's death, they were shielded from detailed media coverage. But as they grew older, each responded to his mother's loss differently, ultimately revealing glimpses of what they felt about their father's involvement or possible negligence. Harry, in particular, has grown outspoken in the years since stepping back from royal duties. He relocated to North America with his wife, Meghan Markle, mainly to protect his family from what he believed was an echo of the rabid press attention his mother endured. In interviews and a memoir, Harry has accused the institution of failing to support Diana.
Some British bookstores made plans to open at midnight for fans eager to snatch up Prince Harry's memoir. The book may be a pre-sale bestseller, but some Londoners aren't buying Harry's motives.
Just as it failed to support Meghan. According to him, the monarchy's primary goal was preserving its own prestige, often at the expense of vulnerable individuals within it. Though Harry never explicitly claimed that Charles harmed Diana, he has come close to blaming his father for not doing enough to shield her. In conversation, Harry describes a pattern. The monarchy distances itself from those who rock the boat, feeding them to the media to distract from bigger scandals. He suggests that the same scripted PR machine that once tolerated invasive coverage of Diana remains in place today. William, the heir to the throne, has taken a more reserved public stance, yet he too has criticized the unrelenting press gossip that followed Diana and exasperated her mental struggles. Notably, he expressed concern and dismay over the manipulative methods used to secure Diana's 1995 BBC interview. He strongly implied that if the press had not cornered her psychologically, she might have felt safer. Although William's disapproval stops short of directly naming Charles, the tension between father and son became visible whenever issues concerning Camilla's place in the family arose, or how the palace historically handled crises. The two brothers also share recollections of investigating that Paris tunnel themselves, driving through it at the same speed, trying to understand how their mother's life could have ended so abruptly. Their personal search for answers has led both to suspect that the story, as told by official agencies, remains incomplete. Henry Paul's intoxication and paparazzi might have set the immediate stage, but deeper factors, such as Diana's isolation and the monarchy's dismissive attitude, were the backdrop. William and Harry's revelations reflected broader distrust. If the monarchy saw Diana as a threat or inconvenience, might it have acted in ways that directly worsened her circumstances? Media firestorms and the crown's dramatic take. The monarchy's issues did not fade over time. In many ways, they only intensified, thanks to an evolving media landscape. Documentaries, interviews, and sensational books keep returning to Diana's final hours and King Charles's potential influence on her emotional well-being. Perhaps the biggest cultural phenomenon in this regard has been The Crown, Netflix's historical drama that traces the life of Queen Elizabeth II and the royal family. The show's creators draw on historical records but also infuse dramatized dialogue and interpretations. As the series approached the tumultuous 1990s storyline, the portrayal of Charles, Diana, and Camilla lit up a new generation's interest in these old wounds. Suddenly, viewers born long after Diana's death were seeing reenactments of press harassment and private feuds behind palace doors. Though disclaimers emphasize that The Crown takes artistic license, the intensity of its depiction, particularly around Diana's isolation and Charles's perceived coldness, undeniably influences public opinion. Further fueling the fire, various documentaries claim to present new evidence, though in many cases they recycle old conspiracy theories or highlight minor inconsistencies that have already been examined by investigators. Nonetheless, each new piece reawakens old anxieties and resentments. Diana's personal letters, some of which mention her fear of dying in a staged accident, are cited as proof that she suspected danger from within royal circles. Whenever these renewed debates surface, the monarchy's official approach is typically to remain tight-lipped. That silence, ironically, only inflames public fascination. Some see it as proof of a cover-up, while others view it as adherence to royal tradition. Never complain, never explain. King Charles himself rarely addresses the subject of Diana directly. Since taking the throne, he has mostly emphasized modernizing the monarchy, promoting unity, and advocating conservation efforts, far from rehashing the heartbreak of the 1990s. For Prince Harry, the media storm around Diana's memory adds to his frustration. He has repeatedly mentioned that he left his senior royal role because he could not bear to see history repeat itself with Meghan Markle. While many fans of the royal family suspect that Harry might be overreacting, others, recalling what happened to Diana, applaud him for prioritizing his wife's safety. Regardless, the tension remains. Does King Charles, as father and monarch, ever address or make amends for the institution's failure to protect Diana from intense scrutiny? A legacy of questions. Where does the family go from here? Fast forward to the present day, and King Charles's family stands at a unique crossroads. The memory of Diana still captivates the public, shaping how we view every major royal event, from weddings to coronations. Every time Harry and Meghan speak out, and each time William hints that the palace could have done more for Diana, the question reemerges. What is Charles's accountability for this family situation? Critics say Charles's hands are not exactly clean, even if he played no literal role in that Paris crash. He chose to commit emotionally to Camilla, sidelining Diana in the process. By failing to champion Diana's needs, he left her to navigate a relentless media storm alone. If the monarchy had recognized the seriousness of Diana's mental health struggles, they might have helped fortify her life. That omission, however, does not rise to the level of legal guilt. It rests in the moral sphere, where what might have been finds no official closure. Supporters argue that Charles was himself struggling in a complicated institution that values duty above personal desire. They point out that Charles experienced an arranged sense of obligation early in life, pushing him into a marriage not necessarily built on mutual love. According to this viewpoint, the monarchy's stiff protocols played a significant role. Lives were shaped by a system that prioritizes duty and lineage over personal happiness. In that sense, Charles was as much a victim of the monarchy's rigid traditions as Diana was. Then there are the broader cultural implications. William and Harry, representing two different ways of dealing with pain, reflect a next generation grappling with centuries-old conventions. William seems determined to maintain the monarchy, but with a gentler, more open spirit. Harry, disillusioned, left that system and challenges it from afar. Meanwhile, the public remains torn. Some hail Charles as a man who has matured, championed charitable causes, and finally found personal contentment with Camilla. Others see him as a direct beneficiary of a chain of events that cost a beloved princess her peace, and possibly her life. Even without legal condemnation, the court of public opinion can be punishing. For decades, the notion that Charles did Diana wrong has persisted, with each new revelation or recreation sparking another wave of moral scrutiny, or even potential enemy military operations. As the world holds its breath, two well-known personalities, Joe Rogan and Stephen Greer, just stepped into the spotlight to leak the secret behind the sightings. Are these objects advanced U.S. drones, or do they signal something far more unsettling? Join us as we let you in on how Joe Rogan and Stephen Greer exposed the whole secret about the U.S. drones. The unknown drones phenomena. As more stories about unidentified flying objects keep popping up, the world is becoming a lot more curious and a little more nervous. A recent incident involving what seemed to be drones captured over the skies of New York and New Jersey has left many people with plenty to say. The video footage, which is as clear as it gets, shows the objects zipping around at incredible speeds, making sharp, erratic movements with glowing patterns that look almost otherworldly.
Good morning, John. A series of widely sighted, unidentified drones observed in the skies, described as having blinking lights and a wingspan of about 6 feet. The drones fly in groups of 6 to 10 and are usually seen between 7 and 10 p.m.
Naturally, this unusual sighting caught the attention of Joe Rogan and Stephen Greer, two big names when it comes to discussing UFOs and government secrets. Let's start with Stephen Greer. If you've ever looked into the world of UFOs, his name has probably come up more than once. He's one of the loudest voices in the conversation about extraterrestrial life and government cover-ups. Greer has spent years researching and exposing what he calls hidden truths about UFO sightings and alien technology. He's even briefed top government officials about the subject. When he speaks, people listen. Then there's Joe Rogan. Known for his ability to take complicated or controversial topics and break them down, Rogan isn't just a curious observer in this case. He's known for his deep dives and provocative questions. His analysis of these mysterious drones has become a major talking point, but no one could have predicted just how shocking his revelations would be. So what exactly has Joe Rogan revealed? It all started with a recent podcast episode that has everyone talking. Rogan, who has always been fascinated by extraterrestrial phenomena, used the opportunity to revisit the issue of unidentified aerial objects. He's been outspoken for years about how governments need to stop keeping secrets and start being honest about what they know. In this particular episode, Rogan played the footage of the mysterious drones for his audience. What followed had viewers on the edge of their seats. As the video rolled, Rogan made some jaw-dropping observations. First, he pointed out that these weren't your typical drones. In fact, they didn't even come close to resembling any known drone technology. According to Rogan, these objects defied explanation. From their movements to their speed, none of it lined up with the laws of physics as we understand them. To make sense of it all, Rogan brought in an expert, Dr. Maria, an aerospace engineer. Her take on the situation was just as unsettling. She explained that for drones to move the way these did, they would need a propulsion system that doesn't currently exist in human technology, not even in theory. This wasn't just advanced technology. It was something completely beyond what we're capable of. But the real twist came when Rogan rewound the footage to take a closer look. That's when he noticed something truly extraordinary. At one point in the video, the drone made a sharp right-angle turn. This wasn't just a quick maneuver. It was a move so precise and so fast that it would be impossible for any technology we have today to replicate. On top of that, the drone was moving at supersonic speeds, faster than anything our military has ever produced. And then there was the sound, or rather, the lack of it. Rogan pointed out that the drone made no noise and left no visible propulsion trail. That's not normal. Every known aircraft, even the most advanced ones, leaves some kind of trace, whether it's a vapor trail or the roar of engines. This drone, however, seemed to glide through the air as if it were from another world. Rogan didn't mince words. He said that if this drone was human-made, then whoever built it is working on an entirely different level of technology. This was something we can barely comprehend. The big question, of course, is what these objects really are. Are they extraterrestrial in origin? Or could they be advanced military prototypes from another country, testing boundaries right over our heads? And then there's the most unnerving possibility. What if these drones have a purpose we don't yet understand? Are they simply surveillance tools? Or do they have a more sinister mission?
Members of Congress received a classified intelligence briefing today about the drone swarms that have appeared for weeks now over a growing number of states. And then late this afternoon, the Department of Defense issued yet another statement about the mystery drones, assuring the public that it is taking the issue very seriously.
As Rogan delved deeper into the mystery, the world was left with more questions than answers. Whatever these drones are, they've sparked a debate that isn't going away anytime soon. Could this be the moment we finally learn the truth about what's flying through our skies? The surprising inputs of experts. It would have been easy to brush off the sighting as a one-time thing if it had occurred randomly in some remote location, but that wasn't the case. As Joe Rogan dug deeper, he found out more truths about the mystery. This wasn't some fluke. The drones were spotted over New York and New Jersey, two of the most heavily surveilled areas in the world. This raised bigger questions. Why there, of all places? Surely there had to be more to it, and it was time to hear from experts and others with valuable insights. One of the most striking revelations on Rogan's show came from a guest who chose to remain anonymous. This person was a former aerospace engineer with extensive experience working on classified military-grade technology. Despite his expertise, he admitted that the object in question was a total mystery to him. He explained that this wasn't the kind of thing you could just whip up in a lab. The movements, the speed, and the eerie silence, it was all light years ahead of even the most advanced classified projects he had worked on. Instead of simplifying the matter, his comments only deepened the mystery. As the conversation continued, Rogan's fans from all over the world chimed in through the live chat. Questions came flooding in, and speculations started to snowball. Many suggested that the drones could be of alien origin, potentially designed to observe humanity, or even prepare us for something bigger. But why was this speculation gaining so much traction? At this point, the behavior of the drones became the focus. Beyond being spotted in densely populated regions like New York and New Jersey, they exhibited other strange characteristics. For example, they would hover motionless in the air for extended periods before suddenly vanishing without a trace. This bizarre behavior was terrifying to many, sparking theories that these drones might actually be alien spaceships. Could it be that extraterrestrial beings are watching us? And if so, what could their intentions be? For answers, we turn to Stephen Greer. He has long championed the belief that many of these sightings are connected to extraterrestrial life. Greer is no stranger to controversy. His bold claims about alien existence have made him a polarizing figure, but they've also made him a leading voice in this arena. He even founded an organization dedicated to explaining what he sees as the hidden truths about alien activity on Earth. Over the years, Greer has made some truly wild claims about aliens. According to him, extraterrestrial beings have been visiting Earth for decades, if not centuries. He believes that governments around the world, especially in the United States, are hiding critical information about these encounters. Greer's theories, while unconventional, suddenly seem eerily relevant in light of these recent drone sightings. If these drones are indeed of extraterrestrial origin, it opens the door to a host of unsettling questions. Does their presence signal danger? Are they weaponized? Could they pose a threat to humanity? These concerns bring us back to Joe Rogan, who didn't shy away from addressing them. Rogan pointed out that, based on the drones' evasive and sophisticated behavior, stopping them would be nearly impossible if their intentions were harmful. Even if these drones aren't alien in origin, the implications are still concerning. What kind of human technology could achieve this level of stealth and capability? And if it's human-made, why is it flying over such heavily monitored areas without explanation? On the other hand, some experts argue that if extraterrestrial beings were observing us, they likely don't intend to harm us. Their reasoning is simple. If aliens wanted to hurt humanity, they would have done so already. This perspective offers a small sense of relief, but it still leaves us wondering, what is their mission? Rogan himself couldn't resist speculating. If these drones are studying us, what's their ultimate goal? Are they preparing for something? Are they trying to communicate with us? Or are we simply part of some grand experiment? For now, the answers to these questions remain elusive, but as we aim to reveal the truth, Rogan doesn't hesitate to highlight another problem: the cover-ups. The questions kept piling up, and the lack of answers made things even more unsettling. Joe Rogan admitted that what truly freaked him out was the silence. He explained that if the government knows what these strange objects are, they're not saying a word, and if they don't know, that's even scarier. This isn't the first time Rogan has criticized the government for withholding information on UFO sightings. It's an issue he's raised often, and for good reason. Over the years, the mystery of unidentified flying objects has left its mark on history, with countless eyewitness accounts fueling the intrigue. Take the case of a resident in Hoboken, New Jersey, who reported an eerie experience. Around 9:30 p.m., She noticed a cluster of light orbs hovering in the night sky. They weren't planes or helicopters. What stood out was how these orbs moved together, almost as if they were communicating. It was unsettling, but her story was just one of many. Similar reports have poured in from New York and New Jersey, making UFO sightings in these areas seem almost routine. According to Rogan, this isn't just another conspiracy theory. The Pentagon itself has admitted they don't know what these objects are. Now, they're appearing over major cities, and it feels like the phenomenon is escalating. Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.